Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining me today because we are tackling something that literally shifts how we learn, from artificial intelligence. Today's goal? We're dissecting how AI visual styles, specifically the whiteboard style inside NotebookLM's video overviews, are not just some pretty decorations you tack on at the end of a project. No way. They are actually fundamental tools for comprehension. We're going to look at why relying on default visual settings might actually be sabotaging your ability to learn or teach effectively, and how taking control of the visuals completely transforms the entire experience. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today so you know exactly what practical takeaways are coming up. First, when pretty visuals fail. Second, the whiteboard tutorial advantage. Third, calming tone for sensitive topics. Fourth, the power of custom prompts. And finally, embracing trial and error. Section 1. When pretty visuals fail. When style distracts. You know that relatable frustration, right? You pick this super sleek visual style for an AI project, only to realize those stunning visuals are completely distracting from the actual learning material. It is a classic trap. This quote from our source material hits the nail on the head. NotebookLM's video overview styles did more than just decorate my videos. They made me think about whether the style was really serving the video's purpose. Choosing a visual style isn't just about making things look nice. It's a highly deliberate choice about how a viewer's brain actually processes information. Now, what's really interesting is the stark contrast between these two options. Take a look at the heritage style. Notice how it relies on bold colors, a super dramatic look, and intense, heavily focused imagery. I mean, it looks incredible, but it completely demands your attention. On the flip side, you've got the whiteboard style. This provides a clean, tutorial look utilizing simple graphics and step-by-step clarity. The heritage style literally pulled our sources' eyes away from the educational content, whereas the whiteboard style anchored their focus exactly where it needed to be. Moving on to Section 2, the whiteboard tutorial advantage. Clear step-by-step logic. Let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Our source gives us this absolutely perfect case study, explaining Windows firewall connection issues to a non-tech-savvy friend. The goal was simple. They just needed to understand why a firewall was blocking something and how to actually fix it without getting totally overwhelmed. The creator initially tried that dramatic heritage style, but it completely failed to make this dry, technical topic easy to learn. So they pivoted and switched to the whiteboard style. And here is the crucial point. It's how the whiteboard style actually structures the information. Just look at these steps. The AI generated a super clear logical progression. 1. When firewall fails. 2. Services and profiles. 3. Simple steps for errors. 4. Hardening protection. And 5. Control with rules. By breaking all that heavy technical jargon down into these visible, sequential steps on a clean whiteboard background, the viewer doesn't have to juggle everything in their short-term memory by relying solely on the voiceover. The visual structure literally acts as a guide. But here's a really fun surprise. Just because the whiteboard style is methodical and clear, doesn't mean it sacrifices personality. No way! During this firewall tutorial, the AI narrator actually slipped in a perfectly timed joke about an app phoning home, giving the explanation this hilarious, lighthearted ET moment. It just goes to show that a simple, clear visual style still leaves plenty of room for an engaging, truly conversational delivery. All right, Section 3, calming tone for sensitive topics. Okay, so we've seen how style affects technical clarity, but our source material reveals it is equally about managing emotional tone. Let's look at a second case study, a piece about managing the anxiety fight response. The creator tried the heritage style again, but this approach backfired spectacularly. Because the topic involved physical responses, the AI went all in on intense body-focused imagery. We're talking dramatic lung and heart shots and highly detailed anatomy visuals. Think about it. For a viewer who is trying to learn how to manage anxiety, having massive, intense internal organs flashing on the screen is absolutely the wrong vibe. Way too intense. And this brilliantly illustrates why matching your visual wrapper to your content is just so vital. By swapping out heritage for the whiteboard style on that exact same anxiety material, the entire experience transformed. The whiteboard style completely stripped away all that visceral intensity. Instead, it provided this incredibly calm backdrop with simple graphics that gently evolved as the narration advanced. This delicate material finally had an easy-to-digest visual environment that actually supported the viewer rather than stressing them out. Which brings us to Section 4, the power of custom prompts, guiding the AI. As it turns out, just clicking a great visual style from a menu is really only half the battle. I want you to ask yourself this question. Can AI read your mind? The obvious answer is no, right? If you rely entirely on an auto-select feature, the AI is really just making its best guess. It inherently cannot understand the specific human nuances or the exact pacing you want for your audience. So, to get the absolute most out of a visual style, you have to guide it with text. And this is where the custom topic box becomes a real game changer. In NotebookLM, this feature sits right below the style carousel. Our source used this specific tool to refine the whiteboard style for that anxiety overview even further. They used it to instruct the AI to strip out heavy medical jargon and, crucially, to slow down the narrator's tone. That single text prompt completely changed the pacing of the visual information, making those calm graphics even more effective. Just look at the result of combining the whiteboard visual style with that custom text prompt. The final tone is described exactly like this. Hey, this is what you're going through, this is what they call it, and here are a few tools connected to it. See the difference? It totally stopped sounding like a generic robotic health tips video and started feeling like a supportive peer-to-peer conversation. The visuals and the prompted tone were finally working together perfectly. And finally, Section 5, Embracing Trial and Error, Finding the Right Fit. Okay, as amazing as these tools are, we definitely need a quick reality check here. The number 3 is really important on this one. That is how many full video versions the creators sometimes had to generate just to find the perfect balance between the chosen style and the prompt details. The genuinely annoying part of the process is that those little thumbnails in the style picker, they do not tell you how a 5-minute video will actually feel to watch. You literally have to render the whole thing out to see it. Our source even noted feeling pretty frustrated about hitting usage limits on their pro account, just trying to test if a style was working. So that definitely begs the question, when is all this trial and error actually worth your time? Well, the source material breaks it down for us right here. If you're just making a quick summary for yourself, honestly, skip it. Let auto-select do its thing. But you should absolutely put in the extra effort when you're creating a video for someone else to learn from, you're covering a delicate or sensitive topic where tone is literally everything, or you are building a permanent resource that you plan to keep and reference later. Which brings us to our absolute core takeaway for this entire explainer. Stop treating the style picker like a pretty last step. Seriously. The visual style you choose isn't going to magically change the underlying facts or the data of your source material for sure, but it will entirely dictate the emotional impact, the clarity, and the ultimate success of the presentation for your audience. It's the whole shebang. I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought to consider as you go back to your own projects. Is the extra work of generating, tweaking, and refining the difference between just settling for whatever generic output the AI hands you and crafting something that actually fits your exact needs? Based on everything we've unpacked today, the answer is a resounding yes. Take control of the visuals, guide the prompts, and make the technology work for your focused learning. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.